Welcome to the evening routine and the custom sensory anchor module. And in this module, we're going to kick it off by talking about why most people get their evening routine wrong, why most people's evening routines fail. The reason why most people's evening routines fail is because they're just not realistic and they're not sustainable. Also, people have different biologies and different lifestyles. So what may work for one person may not work for another person. Instead of adding more stuff to your plate and making things more complicated, I want to create results for you via negativa, which essentially means instead of trying to do more things, we're going to subtract things to move us closer to where we're trying to get. First things first is caffeine. Yes, we have to address it. It is a thing. If you are drinking caffeine after 1 p.m., you are significantly decreasing your body's ability to get amazing sleep. So that's number one. We need to cut caffeine or other stimulants in the afternoon. If you are an avid caffeine drinker, I would implore you to dial it back to before noon or before lunchtime. Number two is alcohol. Yes, I have measured, I have tracked, I have seen the results with this. Alcohol will destroy your sleep. That doesn't mean you can't drink. What that means is let's just set ourselves up for success and let's not drink for this first 7 days at least, right? If you want to have a drink on the weekend, no problem. But if we want to get into a ritual, we want to get into a routine, and we actually want to get killer sleep scores, you get to let it go, all right? Doesn't mean you get to let it go forever. It just means let's create a foundation by which we can build on. I'm all for having fun, and I also believe that if you truly want high levels of performance, if you truly want incredible sleep, I know that's why you're here, then you're willing to do the work, you're willing to let go of some things for a short period of time before you reintegrate them back into your life. Believe it or not, even though alcohol can make you tired because it's depressant, it will not make you sleep better, it will make you sleep worse. Number three is weed, marijuana. Yes, I know a lot of people smoke, and a lot of people associate weed with winding down, relaxing, de-stressing, going to bed because it makes them tired. I'm here to tell you that it will make your sleep worse. And if you want to get optimal sleep, then you also get to let that go. Number four is screens. Whether it's pornography, social media, or TV, all these things are going to disrupt your body's ability to wind down, relax, and actually get true restful sleep and to recover properly. For this one, I highly encourage you to shut down at minimum 60 minutes before bed, if not 2 hours. I will admit that this is the hardest one for me. With the phone, I found that it's just always attached. I'm always checking something. I'm always watching something. I'm always listening to something. And part of my routine is to listen to an audiobook on my phone as I fall asleep. But I'm doing the other thing so well that it doesn't really affect me too much. And I make an honest effort to not go on anything that creates reactivity like social media or email or texting once I've started my routine and I started going to bed. With that being said, if you are going to stay on your phone, then there are some things that you can put into place which can help support the efforts that you're trying to make in order to get this result of getting optimal sleep, which are you can delete all your social media apps from your phone. I recommend you do that right now. Pause the video right now and just delete your apps right now. Trust me, you will thank me later. Number two is you can set your phone to grayscale, and I will leave a link below with a video that explains how to do it. If you have an iPhone, it pulls all the saturation out of the screen, and therefore you just don't want to look at your phone, and it's not very engaging or enticing to open up your phone and scroll. Number three is to set up a do not disturb function in your phone to go into effect at 9 p.m. and to reopen up your phone at the beginning of your workday. The fourth thing that you can do is you can set app limits on particular apps. So for me, I don't have an app limit on my Audible, but I have app limits on other apps so that I don't engage and use those things. So every time I try to open that app, it hits me with a message that says, hey, your time has expired with these apps, and I'm only able to use the ones that I programmed into my phone that I wanted to continue to use later in the evening. And once you start removing all these things, you might actually find that it's going to move the needle quite a bit for you. A lot of the time when we're staying up later than we should, there's really no reason for us to stay up. And so when we don't have these distractions or these things that take our attention and keep us stimulated, keep us awake, we tend to just naturally want to go to bed because there's nothing to do and we're tired and it's time to go to bed. So that will be a downstream effect of removing some of these things that are hindering your ability to get amazing sleep. Now, what are the things that we can add that are the lowest hanging fruit? Which is, if you did this thing, this would be the 80-20 of all the things that you could add to your routine that would really enhance the quality of your sleep most optimally. That's number one, is blue light blocking glasses, which we talked about in an earlier module, which is when the sun goes down, you put on these amber blue light blocking glasses that will shield your eyes from the blue light. Those blue light blocking glasses will protect your eyes and tell your brain, signal to your brain that it's time to get ready for bed to start producing melatonin. So that's number one. If there's anything you could do, this would definitely be one of the lowest hanging fruit. The next thing is the dinner timing. I've seen this time and time again. The more space you create between the time you eat dinner and the time you go to bed, it dramatically impacts your sleep, like especially the way that you wake up and how rejuvenated, how energized you feel when you wake up. I found that the more I move my dinner time further and further away from my bedtime, the more energy I have when I wake up and the faster I get up and the more awake and alert I feel as I wake. The next thing is taking a cold shower before bed. It doesn't have to be super cold. It doesn't have to be for super long. It could be as little as 60 seconds. But what this does is it brings your core body temperature down. Not only will it make it easier for you to fall asleep, but it will keep you asleep longer. Trust me, I have tested this too with many different people. It makes a dramatic impact and it's free. It's free. You think it would wake you up, but it actually does the opposite. The next thing that you can do, which is also free, is planning your day out the night before. The reason why this works so well is because we have all this consciousness that is swimming around, racing mind, racing thoughts. A lot of people tell me that they have problems winding down, problems turning off their mind, their monkey mind, and what I found is that every time that I write out what I got to do the next day, my unconscious can go to work on those things. It's out of my head, it's onto the piece of paper, and I found it to be a really effective way of clearing out any mental chatter. And then immediately following that is the next step, which is having some type of embodiment or mindfulness practice. So whether it's soft tissue work, whether it's stretching, whether it's something I call prehabbing, which we'll talk about in a second, or it's meditation or it's breath work, these things can get you out of your head and into your body, and they can put you into a parasympathetic state, meaning rest and digest. Instead of being in flight or fight, you move your nervous system into a state of rest and digest, which is very relaxing and it helps you get ready for sleep. Now, for all of you that have trouble doing meditation, you're like, Kyle, I can't switch my brain off, then I really want to point you in the direction of this thing called prehabbing. And what it is these tiny little isometric exercises, little micro contractions that actually produce a chemical in your brain called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is the happy chemical, the precursor to dopamine, serotonin, all these fun things that we want to experience, and it puts us in a zen-like, tranquil state. So you get the benefits of meditation without needing to just sit there quietly and count your breath or whatever if you have challenge with that. So I will put a link down below for you to check out the Prehab Dojo. So you can either do the sleep track or you can do, maybe you're tight and stiff in your muscles and you can work on different parts of your body. That is what it's for. All you do is you put your headphones on, you listen to the track, you do the little exercises, and within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you'll be feeling so calm, so relaxed, so ready for bed. And it has been one of the most profound practices for me. And I've shared it with many of my friends, and I know it will be profound for you. So now let's create your sequence for priming your body for sleep. And I'm gonna go through mine and I'm gonna share mine with you so you can get an idea of how I do things. But this is gonna be custom for you, and you can make it and design it the way that you want it to be, okay? The purpose of this is to create sensory anchors, using your 5 senses to anchor an emotional experience that helps you get ready for bed. It triggers these biological responses and you begin to create associations with these behaviors and getting ready for bed and going to sleep. So for me, the first thing I do is I stop eating at 6 o'clock. Then I put my blue blockers on around 7:30, 8 o'clock. I pop 400 milligrams of magnesium, which I will link up the 2 brands that I recommend. Not all magnesiums are created equal. There's different forms, and you want to make sure that you get the right one. I then take a 2-minute cold shower, and I come into my room and I turn the lights off. I turn on the pink Himalayan salt lamps. I plan my day for 10 minutes. I do 20 minutes of prehabbing, meditation or breathing, something like that. And then I turn on an audiobook on a 15-minute sleep timer. At around 5 to 7 minutes, I'm asleep. That's how quickly this works for me. All those steps take a total of 27 minutes for me. Now, if I'm short on time, I will compress that and I will do less prehabbing or less meditation or less breath work by like 10 minutes. And then it makes it a 17-minute routine. So I can be relaxed and ready and fall asleep within 17 minutes. It's pretty insane. So this doesn't have to be some big grandiose thing. The reason why this is so effective is because we've set our circadian rhythm, so our body's working with our internal clock and it's getting us ready for bed organically. But then also we've created an oasis that we can escape to that makes us really relax and helps us wind down automatically. And then we do these little triggers that will anchor us into, oh, it's time to get ready for bed, it's time to fall asleep. And so these things stack on each other, and by doing them in a sequence, it's a very, very powerful way to create an optimized sleep routine that doesn't have to take a lot of time. So here's your assignment. It's time to create your own routine. And I wanna give you some questions to get you started, to think about. Now, the first question is going to be, what time are you going to stop eating? Based on what time you are going to bed, we're gonna do 3 hours prior to the time that you set that you were gonna go to bed in module 1, okay? So write that down right now. What time are you going to stop eating? Make sure that it's 3 hours before you go to bed. The next question is, what time are you going to put on blue blockers? The time that you put on blue blockers will determine on where you live in the world, but it should be around sunset or just thereafter. Once it starts to get dark, the blue blockers go on. What time are you going to take magnesium? It should be 1 hour before you go to bed. What time are you going to take your cold shower? Again, should be 1 hour before bed. What time do you start your relaxation activities or your wind down routine, whether it's the meditation or the breath work or the prehabbing or whatever it is? That should be 20 minutes before bed. So create your routine, write out the answers to those questions, and I will see you in the next video.